Hello, everyone. We welcome you into Tusculum University, where we have hired our 16th women's basketball coach in the history of women's basketball here at Tusculum, and she is Meagan Price. I'm Brian Stayton. I'm glad to be with you in these really challenging, difficult times, and probably the most interesting interview process that you probably ever went through. Talk to us a little bit about that, Meagan. Welcome first, number one. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Glad to have you on board.
Thank you.
Seen the track record. I've read a lot of this stuff. A lot of people that are on social media have read a lot of that stuff. People are going to the website or following a lot of your career right now. I think one of the questions that I ask into this process, are you ready for this step? What has made you ready for this step in your career?
You know, I think having head coaching experience is a big thing. And then I think just being a part of successful programs, you know, as an assistant and as a head coach, I think that is something that, you know, has prepared me along the way. I've worked for some great people along the way too, especially Coach Nelson at Bethel, who's on the WBCA Board of Directors. And so, you know, he really got in and challenged me on some things, and I think helped develop me even further with my philosophies and things like that. So I'm really appreciative of, you know, being a part of a national tournament team, you know, coming in and, you know, and then before that, just being able to get that head coaching experience. You know, because there's nothing like that type of experience coming in. So I'm excited.
You know, this is obviously a huge challenge.
Yeah.
Why was this process so difficult? What made it nerve-wracking for you?
I think it's a twofold. I think that from the beginning it was, you know, difficult just because it is a lot of Zoom and a lot of phone calls. But on the flip side of that, it was nice to, you know, be able to prolong it a little bit, talk with people a lot more. I felt like maybe there was more communication overall than there might be of me just coming one day on campus. And so I think that was huge to be able to communicate. And, you know, because the process was a little lengthy, I was able to, you know, just kind of dissect everything and ask my questions, you know, and I know for Coach Jones, the same thing with me. And so I think just that time allotted, it kind of got the emotions out, because obviously when you get the first phone call, you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Yeah. And then, you know, 2 weeks later, you're still waiting. And so I think it was just neat, you know, and the Lord kind of worked through that with me too. And so it was just cool, some of the things that he had showed me. And so I'm excited, I really am.
All right, you've had a nice, illustrious career for the most part, player, coach, that type of thing. For a lot of people that won't go through the process to read the release, in a nutshell and a summary, just kind of give us, you know, what has prepared you for this moment, where you have started and where you have been and now ended up here at Tusculum.
You know, at the beginning, you know, I started at Bethel, and Coach Nelson had just taken over the program, who I just came back to work for. And, you know, we were a national tournament team when he took over. You know, he built it into that. And so that was awesome to be a part of. And then I finished up my career at Missouri Baptist playing in St. Louis. And so I've kind of been everywhere, because then I went from there to Truett McConnell. And I think it was a little different from the standpoint that I had always won. You know, we were usually ranked number 1 or number 2 in the state of Tennessee in high school. And so for me, I think that was a very humbling experience getting to Truett. And, you know, as an assistant, you don't have as much control, but at the same time, you know, learning the administrative side of things and what you need in order to be successful. And so when we didn't win a lot there, I think that was just something that taught me, you know, okay, well, you're in this situation, it's hard, how are you going to respond? And a lot of people lay down, and I think it was just, for me, something that I thrived in that environment. What can I control? And so I think when I learned what I could control, what I could bring to the table, you know, I did the best I could in that environment, whether it was encouraging kids, individual workouts, those things. And so I'm just a go-getter. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to figure out a way. And so then after that, you know, I took the head coaching position at Hiwassee College, and I knew I was walking into a scenario where there was going to be a lack of resources. And so, you know, I just got in there and went to work, and I spent numerous hours, probably staying up till 2 and 3. You know, I won't do this to Coach Jones, but I was texting the athletic director at like 2 in the morning, you know, going, how can we change the website? I promise I won't do that, Coach Jones. So, you know, but I was just, I mean, I was really wanting to change everything. And so for me, you know, walking in and being able to do that and learning, you know, you make mistakes and then you realize, okay, this works. And so that's why I'm excited now, you know, because after taking the position at Bethel as an assistant, I was able to learn a lot more administratively, you know, also from Coach Nelson, and, you know, and just scholarships, things like that at different schools are all different. And so just understanding all of that, and then, you know, coming here the second time around, you know, as a head coach, I think that preparation, you know, I'm just ready. I'm ready. I'm excited. I wish I could, you know, start today and have everybody on campus. So.
A lot of things about Tusculum for me have been a part of a lot of highs, some lows, but for the most part, it has been a stable, consistent success rate here at Tusculum. And when you see this job pop up, and obviously you want to be a head coach, and it's just like, I'm just going to apply for this and do this. What was some of the intrigue? What was some of the thing that pulled you to Tusculum?
You know, I had known a couple of people in the community already, and so I think that that was a huge thing. And then when you reach out and you talk to people about the university, I never heard one bad thing. And you know, lots of times people will say, you know, well, this is negative or this is negative. And, you know, everybody has their challenges at every university. So, you know, I can't act like it's all rainbows and butterflies. But at the same time, like, everybody has bragged on the administration, you know, how great, you know, Coach Jones is, Randy, all those people. So just being awesome, I mean, just that environment of, you know, having the administration supportive and, you know, just on board. And then, you know, I just think the community in general, I thought it was a huge draw. And, I mean, I've said this 100 times to 100 people, but I love East Tennessee. So I just think it's a great place to live.
Have you had the opportunity to meet any of the players and chat with them yet?
I've chatted with some on the phone, you know, started a group text with them. A lot of it I've communicated with Cam and especially with the recruits. But my goal in this coming week is to set up a Zoom individually with each of them and then have a team meeting on Zoom just so I can continue to build those relationships with them. So coming in, they're not nervous, you know, to, you know what my expectations are. They're going to know before they get here, and also so they feel comfortable when they get here and they're not just walking in with someone they've never met or feel like they don't know.
All right, you talk about expectations. You know, a program that wins the conference tournament this year goes to the NCAA tournament for the first time in a while. I mean, it's been a little while. It's been a long process. Your predecessor worked tirelessly to bring that to a nice level. Your expectation, what is your expectation for this team going forward?
You know, my expectation, and Coach Carter did a phenomenal job. I went back and watched a lot of his press conferences and a lot of games played by, you know, the team. And so just being able to see how he coached and stuff, that was neat just to kind of see. But moving forward, you know, he really set the standard. And so coming in, I'm like, okay, well, how can we raise that standard even more? And not to take away from him, because like I said, he did a phenomenal job. And, you know, so for me, I'm going, well, our goal is to win the regular season conference tournament, you know, or championship, and then win the conference tournament and, you know, get that bid automatically to the tournament, to the NCAA tournament, and then, you know, compete when we go there. So that is something that, you know, he raised the bar high, and I want to continue to raise it even more. And you know, he's helped get it to that level. So I'm hoping that I can, you know, get in here and take it to the next. I'm excited about the challenge. Devin
had a very interesting game plan against Wingate going in, where we jacked up about 7,000 3-pointers and made 4.
I did see that game actually.
It was phenomenal. We might have set basketball back a few years because I think we only scored the 12 points made off those 3-pointers. Either way, it was you know, he had to go through it, and he had to adapt, and he had to change. I think with a lot of the things that he had with his system. He had a defensive-minded system, and now a lot of people are going to go, well, what is she going to bring to Tusculum? What style do you want to play? Where do you want your team? How do you want your team to be when they're on the floor?
I think the biggest thing is competitive, you know, and I am very passionate. So when I get on the sidelines in practice and stuff, I mean, when we walk onto those lines, I mean, it is in between those lines, you know, I am going to be a different person. And so, you know, when I was talking to Maddie and Jayla, I said, you know, this is what you're getting now. I just don't want you to be shocked when we get in between the lines, and I'm very passionate, you know, and it is a different person. So the biggest thing for me is competitive, like playing hard 24/7, you know, and even watching last year, I thought Coach Carter did a phenomenal job. The kids played hard all the time, and I thought it was awesome to watch. And so carrying that on, you know, that is something that will happen, because I mean, if you don't go hard, you're not going to play. And that's one of my biggest things. You know, and I think putting in the individual work, but I want to play fast, and every kid wants to play fast. Sure. That's their number one question. Any recruit you talk to, they go, well, hey, you know, what style? And you say, well, hey, we're going to get the ball up the floor as quick as possible. Every kid goes, yeah, I want to play for her, you know.
Right.
And so obviously that's something that you have to train a kid to do. You can't just walk in and play fast and have no type of organization or poise. And so that will be big. You know, I got a lot of stuff from UConn a while back on how you do that. And so, you know, we will do a lot of those drills. You know, I call it Transition Tuesday. And so, which is very dreaded until they get in the game, and then they're really happy we did it. You know, and then defensively, I know that there are going to be some things I'm going to have to adapt as I've watched the league. And, you know, that's something that I've really been talking to Cam about as well. Just, you know, how can we adapt? How can I change some of this? This is my mindset, but also I'm going to keep my philosophy, but I'm also not crazy enough to not adapt to what's coming in the league. And I'm huge on scouting reports. That's like probably my number one thing. So, you know, that is something that will be, they won't know who they're, I mean, they will know who they're guarding and who they're, you know, playing every single aspect of the game. So.
A lot of great news. A great day here at Tusculum. The bad news: you've lost 4,000 points. You've lost tournament MVP. You've lost with the top thief in the conference and one of the best thieves in the country in steals. You have some holes. You have some of that. I know you haven't gone through the whole team and done a lot of that type of thing right now. But do you embrace that challenge, knowing that here's a great program? We did lose a lot. We got a lot coming back, and I'm so excited about what next year brings to the table. Have you been able to kind of dissect some of that stuff, and how excited is that to be able to know where you have to go and fill some holes?
You know, the biggest thing I kept texting Randy about, and I was like, I'm going to drive him crazy because I'm like, when can I take the test? You know, when can I start recruiting? Like, when are we making the announcement? Because I'm ready to hit the trail and recruit. You know, like you said, we have huge pieces coming back, and I'm super excited about that. I think that, you know, filling those holes and getting players in here immediately that can play will be huge, you know, because I know that we lost some really key pieces as well. And so that's something I'm after. You know, like I said, I've watched numerous film and trying to figure out, okay, hey, this person will fit best into this system, you know, and so I'm excited. I'm ready to embrace the challenge. And, you know, I know there's going to be some tough times ahead, but there's also going to be a lot of excitement, you know, coming to the Greenville community, so I'm pumped about it.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
We welcome you here.
I appreciate it.
She's Meagan Price. She's our 16th coach in women's basketball history here at Tusculum University. And until next time, I'm Brian Stayton. Go Pioneers.